This week, Checkpoint has tried repeatedly to talk to the New Zealand Defence Force, the current and former Ministers of Defence and the Prime Minister about what happened in Afghanistan and how the Defence Force assertion of zero civilian casualties is so at odds with what villagers have said, what the UN has said, what the New York Times has said and what, of course, the Hit and Run book has said. None of them have accepted our request to be interviewed. Now, the SAS raids were in response to an attack on another group of New Zealanders almost 3 weeks earlier. They were personnel with the Bamiyan provincial reconstruction team who'd been attacked by insurgents while on routine patrol. 28-year-old Lieutenant Tim O'Donnell from Fielding was killed in that attack. 2 other soldiers and a local interpreter were wounded. Tim O'Donnell's family are distressed that their son's death 19 days before the SAS raid has been brought back into the public eye again. His father, Mark, read a statement to Checkpoint on the family's behalf.
Tim O'Donnell's family are annoyed by the allegations made by Mr Hager about the New Zealand Defence Force's activities in Afghanistan. Tim's death was and still is a massive shock to his family and friends, and they don't need it to be dragged up in a sensationalised article like this, with Tim's photos being shown on television and on the internet at a time when the family believed that he was at last out of the public arena. If the allegations are in any way accurate, we are confused and upset as to why the evidence was not presented to the appropriate authorities as pure evidence. The publishing of this book appears to be a money-making venture that seeks fame for the authors and attempts to blacken the reputations of more than a few people, including very courageous defence personnel who repeatedly get in harm's way for New Zealand. The family are also upset at the comments in the media about war crimes. Most of the work carried out by Tim's patrol was around supporting local people and supporting US agricultural experts who were there to introduce new crops and new methods of farming. They were not there as combatants, yet were attacked at the end of a long day. A large bomb was detonated directly under the vehicle and Tim was killed outright. His 2 crew were seriously injured and their interpreter suffered minor injuries. No one wrote a book demanding answers and yelling war crimes. The Taliban didn't come down and tend to the dead and injured. They cleared off at a great rate into the hills, probably very jubilant. There is a sense of unfairness about this book. The New Zealand Defence Force carried out their role as best they could in the circumstances of an ever-changing environment. The O'Donnell family.
That's Mark O'Donnell, the father of Timothy O'Donnell, killed almost 3 weeks before those SAS raids.